What is going on? I am Jack, and this is Log Cabin Firewood. So hey guys, I hope everybody has been doing amazing. Today's pretty good. It's a Thursday for me. Good work week. We got a little bit of stuff organized over here. I'd still have to go through and clean up some of these cookies. Probably gonna, split these at least once so they get some air to them. But check this out. I'm not sure if I talked about this in a video yet, but they were milling my road in between my neighbor's house and my house, and my stepdad used to work for that company. So thank you, Dwayne. I called him and said, hey, do you got any contacts with them? And he's like, yeah, let me check. Well, I think they brought us 4 loads over here. So I'm now out of the mud. I got a nice area to work in. Once I get this cleaned up over here, I want to load this up with chips. That way, when I dump my loads, I'm dumping into wood chips and not stone. Because sometimes when you dump into this stuff, the stones, and especially the blacktop, it's going to get stuck in the bark. So just planning ahead. The last 3 loads I got from Funk, I ended up stacking right here. Funk has all his trees down now, and he's asking if I can start making trips to come get some. And starting tomorrow, I'm gonna go grab a load. But there's some beautiful sticks in here. I mean, this is all basically oak. I think 90% of that's oak. There's like a couple pieces of maple in here. Other than that, everything's oak. It's pretty nice. But I brought the trailer over. We have to get some wood over to the boiler pad. And I'm going to fill the dump trailer up with the boiler wood. The cookies, the junk, the offcuts, the stuff that was not so pretty. But I reached in here the other day with the excavator, and this stuff's actually pretty. Like, yeah, it's off sizes. It's, some of it's not knotty and crotchy and, just chunks. But for the most part, all this stuff's good. So instead of me piling green cookies on top of this, we're gonna fill the boiler pad up with this and go from there. I'm gonna say there's probably maybe 1.5 cords here. There might be more, but I'm gonna say there's probably 1.5 cords here. So let's get to chucking and we'll find out what's here. I went through and got a good bit of the bigger chunks out of the pile here. Most of this stuff over here is all just super cookies. Like, I tried to get as much of the stuff that, it's 16 inches or better thrown in here, and it's probably just under 1 cord. 1 cord is typically right to the top of my rails, loosely thrown. I think the rest of this stuff, we're going to get the IBC totes over here. I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. And these small little chunks, I'm just gonna start putting right into the IBC totes. And I'm also going to burn this stuff too. This isn't going to waste. So I just want to kind of burn some of this stuff now while it's been split for over a year. Well, yeah, I guess it's been about a year because it was like April last year when we came over here to this woodlot. So I'll get some IBC totes over here and start filling them up on this. And then that will go to my house. But I spent the weekend in Doswell, Virginia with Eastonmade last weekend. And that was an absolute blast. Tons of fun meeting a few people. There were people that have followed me on Facebook that came up and talked to me about the boiler. There were people that follow me because of, the Eastonmade equipment I run and knowing me in the Firewood community that I met. So it was a real good time meeting everybody. It's always very humbling when folks come up to me because, I'm just a normal person. I don't have any notoriety behind me. I'm just another dude that plays with firewood on the interwebs. But I have a lot of fun with it, and hopefully I'm, you know, showing people how I do things, and hopefully I'm helping somebody out there, you know, to run their stoves better or to split their wood more efficiently, or helping you in aiding your sales if you sell firewood. And in no way, shape, or form am I a how-to. I'm just a how I do. So don't ever take anything I say, you know, as gospel. There's more than one way to skin a cat. If you feel there's a better way and it works for you, that's what's important. This stuff over here, the old man over here has a buddy that has a fireplace. I mean, there's some good stuff in here. This was the first bin that we did, and like not so smart people, when we were splitting this, we were sending everything up the conveyor. I learned very fast that you don't want to do this. You want to get a slash pile off to the side if you're going to pile. If you look in this pile here, there is very, very minimal slash. And this is, a lot of it's sweet gum. So yeah, some of it's going to have some splinters, but it's very, very minimal slash in these piles. This one too. And I checked some of this stuff in January when I was needing bundlewood, and it was right at 28%. So I'm hoping, it's April now, I'm hoping by June it's ready, because I know the campground's going to need a ton of bundles. And there's, I think I did the math, what was it? Just under 5 cord in here. You know, I think that's what it was. It was like 4.5 cords or 5. I forget. We'll have to go back and watch that video and figure it out. But I'm gonna drag some IBC totes over here and start getting rid of this stuff so that I can start filling this up again with fresh cookies for this year. Let's go. Well, we got 2 totes full of the cookies, and like I said, I put all the smaller chunks, the little tiny pieces, in the totes, and we put the stuff that's of substantial stackable size, you know, 14 inches plus, in the trailer. So there's probably about a cord in here now. You know, that's how my trailer holds about a cord, you know, heaped up like this. And there is maybe, I don't know, 2.5 more totes, maybe 2 totes left of the cookies. And what I'll do after I get this stuff loaded and out of here and stacked up, I'll pull these pallets and probably blow this out. And since he's got a burn pile over here, I will dump all this trash in the burn pile. So that's the goal for tomorrow. And then I need to go through this over here. I'm probably just going to completely demolish this. I might go through and pull the sides off since they're screwed down and save some of the good pallets along the sides. But everything in the center, I'm going to straight pick up with the forks and hopefully take it right over to the burn pile, because I want to make more wired bins just like this over here. And eventually I'll change that one too. I just think the wire works a little bit better. Yeah, it costs more, but it looks cleaner and works nicer in my opinion. But we'll get this stuff over here cleaned up and stacked up, and we'll come back then. The trailer is now empty, and we have officially filled up another cord. Now, I don't know if you could see, but since this stuff is all big and bulky and not pretty, there's a lot of air gaps in between this. And this goes to show that the bigger the piece of wood, you can't really stack it as tight as you can good split pieces of wood. And this is a perfect example of why I split things smaller, because you can actually put more wood in your firebox. But this here was also part of the trailer, about 1/2 of a cord. So there was a little bit more than a cord in there. But if you take the air gaps out in this, that 1/2 of a cord over here could have probably been stacked into here if it was split smaller and not so ugly. A lot of this stuff is all the cutoffs. Well, this is all the cutoffs, that, you know, the cull wood that I would not sell in packaged firewood bags or bundles. Some of this stuff's 8 inches, 10 inches, there's 14 inches, full of bugs. This will not show up from me. There's people losing their mind on Facebook and YouTube that I sell a premium product. And I sell a good product. I'm not gonna sell you junk. People lost their mind that I said I'm just gonna burn this here. And because it was in the 40% moisture, that it was not seasoned and not ready to burn. Somebody was saying, oh yeah, that stuff's seasoned. There's a difference between seasoned and dry. And yes, if you want to get technical, yes, seasoned has something to do with the sap disappearing out of the wood. But no, not one firewood seller is worried about sap coming out of their wood. They're worried about what they could give to a customer that's properly seasoned and ready to burn. Not sap. And this stuff here was kind of punky. You can see it right there. That's just punk. I would not bring this to your house. And you can see here where a lot of this was just, losing its structural integrity. Will it burn? Yes. If you're cutting and splitting it for yourself, yes. But if you're selling it, you don't want to take stuff like that to somebody's house. At least I don't. You can if you want. That's up to you. We can all run our businesses how we choose, right? It's a free, open market. That's what's awesome about this whole firewood adventure. But I think that's going to end this video. I probably have 2 more totes over in the wood yard. I have to clean up that cookie bin. And the pollen is outrageous today. I'm sniffly. Sorry if you guys are hearing me sniffle. But I've got 2 more totes over there to clean up. And then I could start splitting new cookies into that bin for next season. Because next season I'm going to try to 100% burn solely cookies. So we'll see what happens. Take care of each other. Have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.